is now just a few days away, and we hear from the second half of the Vienna City Council candidates, and I have more with the other 5. There are 9 candidates plus a write-in on the ballot for the race for a seat on Vienna City Council. The second half of the candidates shown are Seth Colvin, Henry Sasson, Carrie Rapp, Harry Ditzler, and Kathy Boswell Davis. Seth Colvin believes he can be useful to council because of his career behind engineering project management and various construction projects. He feels his background could be helpful. He wants to see more engagement and activities throughout the community.
You know, things to do in Vienna. Not a lot of activities for, now the city does put on a bunch of different types of program, like, you know, we had Glow in the O here recently, that was cool. But there's not a lot of to-do things.
Henry Sasson has done business in 46 countries and 36 states here in the U.S., and he feels he has good business acumen and understands how things work. He wants to see everyone together rather than divided.
Making sure that the people have representation to instill precincts or wards. That way everybody's got to live in a certain area. They're responsible for that area, and that way the city is equally represented by the people in certain zones or precincts as opposed to the select few in a consolidated location.
Carrie Rapp is looking to contribute to the community. She has a background of working with seniors and getting them the health care that they need, and she believes her experience will have a positive impact on the community and seniors.
To bring back the village, so to speak, of wrapping our arms around one another, making sure that whether it's our children or our seniors, everyone in between, that we really rally around one another so that everyone feels supported, cared for, everybody has access to the services.
Harry Ditzler was a prosecuting attorney for years and has worked with all departments, including the Board of Education, fire departments, police departments, commissioners, and the city of Parkersburg and the city of Vienna.
Handle the pension plans, insurance, and all of that sort of stuff, and keep the streets paved and keep the sewers working and the water working, and the volunteer fire department taken care of. And in addition to that, the Vienna recreation, the pool, the fields, there's so much.
Kathy Boswell Davis has been working for more than 35 years to ensure smooth health care for people and cares about bringing in community justice and sustainability for the city of Vienna. And an important issue for her is to attract more families and businesses, and to do that is to complete infrastructure. She wants to work tirelessly with the citizens of Vienna and to plan effectively for the community. All candidates were asked what issue was most important to them, and we have reached out to all candidates. In Vienna, I'm Haley Lanham with WTAP News.